Because healing will never stop.
It doesn't. And I'm
Like,
learning that as an adult. Like, it
yes.
doesn't. You think you can go to therapy for a couple of months and, like PD talked about yesterday as well, just because you don't feel the pain doesn't mean you've healed from it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like, we're moving on with life thinking, oh, yeah, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. Not realizing until you're triggered that, oh, I have not healed from this.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Keep It Positive, Sweetie. Today I have with me my brother from another mother, the man behind Car Chronicles, MarQuis Parson. I'm so happy you're here today.
Thank you for having me.
I had to because so many people don't know your story. You know, I've known you since college.
Yeah, since 2004-ish.
Yeah, don't be telling
Almost
a long time ago.
Yeah.
No, they know how old I am. Yeah, like 2004.
Yeah.
Through a mutual friend
Yes.
in
Kvle.
Kvle.
Hey,
Kvle. We met then. You're from Memphis.
Yeah.
I'm from Martin, and we've met. And then when we moved to Atlanta, Kvle again reintroduced us and like, hey, you guys need to hang out. And we're closer than brother and sister, literally.
Yes.
You're like one of my closest friends. But
A friend that stick closer than a brother.
Hey, hey.
Sister. Won't he will?
Yeah. Yes. So I wanted to bring you on because you have been through so much. And when I think of everything you've been, I think of our favorite song. What we say?
Look at God.
Look at God.
Yes.
And it goes a little something like this. Sitting here counting my blessings. Ain't no need for stressing in my life. My enemies, they may form weapons. Yeah. But I know I'm protected by the blood, protected by the love of God. Grace and mercy, all His favor keeps taking me higher, just like skyscrapers. And every time I turn around, you got the rest.
You keep blessing me, blessing me.
Look at God. No, seriously though, it was a time in your life, because I've known you for a long time, where I literally felt like you were going through so much. If I had to compare you to somebody in the Bible, it was Job.
Yeah.
And I was like, my goodness, like this kid cannot catch a break.
Yeah.
It was one thing after another. So I wanted to bring you on because you've been open about your heart attack. Can you just because that's one thing you're super passionate about.
Yeah.
And that was one of I guess the beginning of the Job
Yes.
phase. I feel like that was the beginning where I was just like.
Yeah. Yeah. 2017.
Yeah.
My joints were inflamed. I could barely walk. I couldn't sit down. Everything just was hurting. I spent a week in the hospital, and they couldn't tell me what was wrong. They sent all these different type of doctors, doing all types of tests. And at the time, I was in Memphis visiting, and I was like, just get me back to Atlanta.
Right.
I know they're going to figure it out.
That's every time you go to Memphis.
Yes.
Get me back to Atlanta.
Yes, just get me back to Atlanta.
Yes.
And so got back to Atlanta. My primary doctor sent me to a rheumatologist, and that was the start of my heart situation, but I didn't know that I had issues.
Wow.
They just put me on steroids for like 9 weeks. And so the inflammation went down. I got a fresh new layer of skin and all of that stuff. So that was in October of 2017. And then I had my heart attack in December of 2019.
Wow.
I just kept saying that my chest was hurting. And I went to the doctor because I was at a funeral, and that's when I first had my cardiac episode, but didn't know that it was a cardiac episode because they said that there was no blockage in my heart.
Right.
And the week of Christmas, so that was the week of Christmas, so
that.
not even a week later, I had the massive heart attack.
You were how old then?
I was 36. I had just turned 36.
36
Wasn't even
years
36 for a good month yet.
Wow.
And so 36, every year I have a theme for my
Yes.
birthday. So 36 was, I just kept saying rebirth, rebirth. I did a whole photo shoot of me like literally in the ground, covered in mush and everything. And I just felt like I didn't know what God was going to do, but I knew that he was birthing some out of me because of everything that I had went through in the real estate world. It's like a roller coaster, The government controls the rates. There's been layoffs. I've had to quit jobs,
So
with
you
no
already-
job,
yeah.
So I just was like, I know that God is going to do a new thing, but I just don't know what that is. So I titled that Rebirth, and I literally did have a rebirth because once I arrived to the hospital, I was already gone. So they worked and worked and worked on me, and I woke up, and the first thing I asked for was a ginger ale.
You're like, give me a ginger
I
ale.
needed to burp. I was confused. I didn't know what was going on. And
No,
all
I
I
needed
kept
to
asking,
burp.
I need a ginger ale. I need a ginger ale. But yeah, that was the start of it. My grandfather passed away at 36 with a heart attack. I was 36 when I had mine. His was a open heart surgery.
Wow.
And yeah, it changed my life.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, me having a heart attack was the best thing that could have ever happened to me because prior to that, I was like a little firecracker,
Still is.
I've calmed down, Look at God.
No, you have. You have calmed down a lot.
But
You
it
control
really has helped me value life, value my friendships. I'm big on showing up.
You are.
If my friends need me to do something, I'm there to do it. I'm going to execute it. I execute their stuff better than I execute my own stuff. So, because I don't want to let y'all down. So that's, yeah.
Well, you're an amazing friend. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Like I do. I can depend on you so much. I've made you like the executive of the house. Like
Yes.
everything that deals with the house, MarQuis is over there because I'm
Yeah.
like, I know I can trust you with my whole life.
Yes.
And it's hard to
Vice
come
versa.
by people like
Yeah.
that. It really is. It's been a lot of transition, just even like from health and you working out more.
Yes.
At such a young age, having a massive heart attack. I'm so glad that we can even use this platform to share to people because a lot of people think heart attacks happen to older people, but
No.
statistics have proven that it's happening to younger and younger and younger people
Yes.
every
And-
day.
Yes, and especially with COVID, Emory is currently they've been doing a study of my heart for the last 4 years.
Wow.
But what triggered the heart attack was COVID. They didn't even know it was
19, yes.
And so COVID was the trigger, and then a lot of people have had heart attacks post-COVID and didn't even know that they had underlying conditions or it was hereditary. In my case, mine was hereditary.
Yeah.
It skipped my dad and his siblings and went immediately to my brothers and I. And so, yeah, it's that's why it's important to get physicals, ask doctors, hey, can you check my calcium levels or can you give me a coronary calcium scan? And they consider that like a calcium score, and it'll tell you like the plaque buildup and if you're on the verge of having a heart attack or if there's something that they can stop prior to you having it.
Yeah.
And that test runs like $100 to $400, and most insurance companies don't even cover it.
So a lot of
How
black people
and-
are not
yeah.
getting that. Yeah.
How and why when it's the #1 killer amongst African Americans, like $100, and that's when my Beat It Foundation kicks in, and we offer that test. We provide the funds for them to have the test, but mainly knowing what questions to ask when you're, getting a physical. Hey, can you just check my calcium levels?
Let's talk about your Beat It Foundation. You started the foundation because, just give me like the backstory and the meaning behind Beat It.
Okay, so initially Beat It started after I had my heart attack in 2019. But I just sat on it. God gave it to me, but I didn't know what to do, like how to file a 501c3 and all of that stuff. I'm like, I know this is what I'm supposed to do. But at that time, Beat It for me was no matter what you go through, you can beat it. Say, for instance, you lose a job. Say, for instance, you lose a loved one. You know, I've experienced enough, but I hadn't experienced a lot at that time.
At that point.
I
Then
just
after
knew
that,
yes, I just knew that God had told me that I needed to start this foundation.
Wow.
Didn't know what to do and how it would, how to get the ball rolling. And so sat on it, had the name, and then my brother had his heart attack and passed. That's when
you
a
really...
fire just was lit under me. My niece asked the question, why didn't my dad just go to the doctor? And that's when I was like, I'm going to start this foundation. So I started the foundation earlier this year in February, which was the same month as heart disease. So I was like, I just wanted like some meaning behind it. So yeah.
That's amazing.
I started with a logo. Once I got the logo, that gave me like the inspiration to just go on and do everything else.
I want to talk about the things that you have beat and why I look at you as a modern day Joe. You had the heart attack right at 36. You got engaged.
Yeah.
And this was, I guess, the first time you really experienced like
true
love and a loss. And a real loss. And then right after that, not long after that, like 6 months later, your brother passed away from a heart attack. And I feel like even before that, you were every other week it was a funeral.
A funeral, a friend passing away tragically on vacation. Life is good, snorkeling. It just seemed like it was something after one thing after another. And when Daryl passed, my fear was, oh, I had someone that like really loved me. I don't think I'm ever going to experience this type of love again. I had someone that loved me more than I loved them for a change. It's like I'm always giving and pouring out my heart and was never receiving it on the other end. And so he prepared me for so much, like with the conversations that him and I had. It was comforting during my grieving process because all I could hear is his voice talking about certain things. I knew how he felt about death and all of that. And then he lived his life every day like it was his last. Like he was just so full of life. And that relationship taught me so much about myself and what true love, unconditionally love was. So
when you talk about Daryl, I see the range of emotions that come over you. I was there when he proposed to you. It was a surprise. And it was so beautiful. Did I sing to you that year? I think I sang Happy Birthday.
Sang Happy Birthday.
I sang Happy Birthday that year.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful moment. But you mentioned that Daryl loved you fully.
Yes,
and also that the first time you felt like someone loved you more than you loved them. And that's something my mom used to always tell me, like find somebody that loves you more than them. You want that because we already love hard anyway. Tell me what was so special about Daryl.
When I first met Daryl, I was, I think, 24.
Wow.
Yeah, we met and we dated, but I was young. I was trying to be in a relationship and stuff like that. So when we finally reconnected, like it was so crazy because I was having a conversation with a friend and we were talking about like who was our best kiss and all of that stuff. And I brought Daryl up and I was like, oh my God, I haven't talked to him in so many years. And out of the blue, he found me on Instagram. He had saw a video of me singing in the car, and he hit me up, and it was like we didn't skip a beat. I was just so excited to have him back in my life. I was still trying to heal, and at that time I was on so much medication post the heart attack. And I just opened up to him, like, even more. Like, he had already opened up to me with his stories and all of that stuff. And that's how our love story, like, just, like, really blossomed. He would do things that I didn't understand. He did things his way.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just want to be, I want to have that courage. Because at that time, a lot of people knew about my sexuality, but I hadn't like verbally, like just announced to the world that
Right.
I'm in a relationship with a guy. Like a lot of people didn't know any of that until the engagement, and I was
videos were, like,
skeptical
everywhere.
about that. He didn't care, but every day he posted and honored me, and I didn't do that initially. Like he begged, like we got into a little spat because he wanted to release the engagement video.
I remember that.
And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this because at that time I was worried about what others would say and all of that stuff. But going into my next relationship, I don't care. Who knows? Like, because he helped me get through that. And even with his passing and stuff like that, like I felt him. He came to me because that night I was crying. It was when Adele's song came out, Go Easy on Me, Baby.
Yes.
Yeah. And I was like, why am I crying? Why am I crying? And I woke up, and to the day, one of his close friends called me and told me we lost Daryl. And I was like, what do you mean? Is he missing or something? You know? But that's when I experienced like heartbreak. In that moment, I was like, everything that I was scared of, I've endured. And that's where my resilience come from, because I've experienced all of my fears already. Every last one of them. But yeah.
Wow. What it's okay. What you gonna make me cry. What was it that actually happened to Daryl?
He initially had a heart attack, but I honestly believe that he knew that time was running out for him, and he was trying to protect me, and more so because I was like, I just feel like you're pushing me away. So I had to make the decision to call my engagement off. And like calling the engagement off, we didn't have another conversation after that.
Wow.
And you remember when I was moving, I was like, the week before he passed, I kept telling you, I was like, I just want a fresh start. I was like, when I'm in this apartment, I think about him. I see him. I want to get rid of everything. And that was the week before he passed. Yeah, so in my mind, I was like, oh, he'll move to Atlanta. Because again, this was a long distance relationship. So I was like, he's going to move to Atlanta and then we'll get back together. And then when I found out that, you know, he was moving on, that's when I started to deal with the breakup. Because I wasn't seeing anybody or anything. I just was like, it'll work itself out. But we weren't communicating.
Right.
And so that's the part that hurts the most. But he came back, you know, to say goodbye. Because I was talking to Tony and he was like, oh, just put in some Summer Walker, you'll be okay.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I wasn't. I had no idea like that. Yeah, that changed my life forever. And I'm going to be a better partner for someone, whoever that person is.
Yeah. What will you take away from him? Like, what are some of the traits that you would take away from Daryl? Where you're like, this is how I want to carry this into my next relationship?
It goes back to me saying that I'm going to be unapologetically me. That's what he was. He was kind and patient with me. And he listened, but he also, I never had to question how he felt. You know, he always made sure that I knew how much he loved me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
to the
hard to
point.
find.
Yeah, like that was his love language, just letting me know that hey, whatever I wanted, whatever I wanted, he made sure that I had it. Like that was just, I had never experienced anything like that. And I could just be randomly talking about something that I wanted, and like he would take notes. It's like he was taking notes, and before you know it, I had it. So.
I find you doing that now. Taking
Yeah,
notes.
I find. Yeah,
Yeah.
collecting the data. Of,
Yeah,
listening to people. Like even with your you was like, oh, I want that suitcase. I was like, okay,
Yes. Yeah.
note
Right.
it.
Yes. Yeah.
Get it. Like gifts. Like yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but yeah, he changed my life. That's one person that like really. That's really. Yeah.
Okay. It's okay.
Yes.
I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was so crazy because I went to Michael's with Zach the other week and this past weekend actually, and I got rid of my tree. The tree, we had a black Christmas tree and it was really nice, decorated. And I ended up giving it to Bernard. And so I was in Michael's this past weekend and I got the tree and like all these emotions just started, flashbacks are triggering because that was his favorite holiday. So it's been 2 Christmases, so I'm gonna celebrate this year. I'm gonna put the tree up and it's part of my healing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and so when Brandon, my brother, passed, it was like I had a dream 3 weeks prior to my brother passing away, and I woke up out of that dream crying and everything. I was in a dark room. All I knew was that my brother had passed away. I didn't have any details or specifics, and all I could do was pray like, Lord, keep my brother. Please protect him. I sent my brother, I called him. My brother doesn't answer the phone. Nobody. So I text him, unless he wants some money. That's what he would. If he needs some money, he gonna pick up, right? So I text him and I was like, bro, I need to see you. I just had this horrible dream. I just need to lay eyes on you. And then I called and I told my dad about the dream and I was like, Pops, it felt so real. It felt so real. And 3 weeks later, he passed. I was like, we need to get up. One of my friends passed away. I went to DC for that. Then I received an award in Memphis the following week for this breast cancer foundation. And so our timing conflict didn't allow us to connect. And so I think about that a lot. Like, what if I was able to talk to him, because his girlfriend said that for 3 days he had kept saying that something wasn't right and that his chest was hurting. And so losing my brother, that's when I was at my lowest, because I was like, God, my brother had kids. Why didn't you just take me versus my brother? And so even after he passed, it goes through my head every day. Like,
Why?
yeah. Like, I know that I'm here for a purpose.
And what did Pastor say? You were born for the era that you were needed.
Yes. And I so needed that in that moment too, yesterday, because I was like, well, I know I have purpose. And then I think about my dad. I'm like, my dad he would have lost it if I would have left. And then my brother, like, I just think about that too. But I know that I'm here for something way bigger than me. It's not even about me. The heart attack wasn't about me. You know, everything that I've gone through has not been about me. I'm not what has happened to me, but I'm here to help somebody else. Someone else may not be able to go or endure what I've had to go through. And it could be that oh, I'm here to help you get through whatever it is that you're going through.
Yeah, absolutely. I've learned in life that it always doesn't look reciprocal relationships, and sometimes you are put on certain platforms or given certain obstacles because God knows the testimony that you can give after that.
Yeah.
You have another brother who faced a trial, and how many years is he doing in prison?
He's doing 30 years.
30 years in prison.
Yeah.
So you are the last son that your dad actually is able to
physically
see. Yeah. So I think about all that, and I remember the trial and your dad going and not being able to see him.
Yes. Even the verdict, when it even came down to the verdict, the judge wouldn't even wait for us to get back to the courtroom. They had told us that, oh, go on and leave and go to the hotel. The jury is going to deliberate for at least a good 7 hours, so there's no need for you guys to hang and stay around. And so we followed their advice, and so we didn't get to see him, but I talked to him, and he's in good spirits. Good. So yeah.
Wow. One thing that is remarkable about you to me is that through everything, and I've been with you through all these trials, you never let any of these situations waver your faith or your relationship with God.
No.
So many people would have cursed God, would have been like, there's no way God can let this much stuff happen to one person. They would lose faith and they would say, you know what, I can't do this. But I feel like it just brought you closer and closer and closer to Him.
Yes.
And it's so beautiful to see. I've seen you at your breaking point. I've seen you on your hands and knees, just like crying your eyes out because the pain was so hard. But you've always, even after
if somebody cutting onions, jeez.
No, seriously, you have, and you smile through it all.
Yeah.
You find the strength to stay positive.
Yeah. That's my superpower.
It is your
smiling.
superpower. Yeah.
Like, through no matter what, I just told myself that I will not be a poster child of my trauma. So I didn't want to worship that trauma. You know what I mean? Like, okay, this happened to me, but God, what do you want me to do? What is this? What is the lesson in all of this? And a lot of times we want to stay in that and waddle in it, and I just was like, no, I am not feeding that. No,
you didn't. Yeah.
Like, we gonna get some cement and we gonna patch that up and we gonna keep it moving.
Yeah.
And so that's all I know how to do, because everything that I've asked God for, He has done. Even when I said, God, after my brother passed, I am completely broken. I said, you didn't shield and protect my brother. And He was like, I did.
Wow.
I gave him, he didn't suffer, his kids are going to be okay. I was more so focused on the prayer of shield and protecting. But God had another plan and put him in His realm of things. He's not here earthly.
Yes.
But everything that has happened to me in 2023, I know it has a lot to do with my brother and Daryl, like completely. Like, I do have two angels, like sitting one on each side. And like,
That's amazing. Let's bring it up for a second. Speaking of 2023, this has been a redemption year for you.
Yes.
Bought a new house.
Yes.
Randomly. Tell me that story, because y'all, this is the craziest thing ever. You were driving.
Moved to Dallas.
You moved to Dallas.
I moved to Dallas
for 2 days.
2 weeks. Okay. 11 weeks. It was 11 weeks.
And you were probably in Atlanta.
Yes.
7
and so
of those 11.
What happened was, out of those 11 weeks, I was here 11. Out of those 11 weeks, I was here 7 weekends. So it was like, don't you move.
Yeah.
But I was making up excuses. Oh, I got to come back for Crystal. Crystal got this going on and all that. So I knew, like, I moved, and then 2 weeks later, it was your 40th birthday party. And everyone just kept coming up to me saying, why did you leave? How you gonna leave your girl like that? and that, like, watching you, because I don't think I took that many photos. I was just in awe of the night and just watching you and seeing, I was just so proud of you. And God was like, you need her just as much as she needs you. And that's when I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to make a decision. And I don't care what anyone thinks. You know, this is an assignment that I have to come back for, because God isn't through with me here in Atlanta. And I said, okay, God, if I'm going back to Atlanta, who do you want me to become? Who's the person that I'm going to be? I'm going to be unshakable, unstoppable. And so it's like when you will always ask me, okay, what's the plan? What's the plan, MarQuis?
I'm always big on what's the plan.
Because when I quit my job, with no job, that's the first thing you said.
What's the plan? How we paying these bills?
Right. I said, listen, God will make a way. And he did make a way. A week later, I had another job, but that's that crazy faith. But I wasn't looking for a house. I was just driving to Rocky's house, and I said, oh, there's really nice houses out here. And I saw a house, and I was on the phone with Tony, and I said, friend, this house is really nice. It's on a corner lot. I said, looks like they've completely renovated the house. Whoever gets this house is going to be a lucky individual. And I kept it moving. Like, I didn't have no desire to even purchase a house. One, my lease wasn't up until December. So I wasn't going to break the lease.
Right.
And so the next day, Kvle reached out and was like, she was looking at condos. And she wanted me to invest in the Atlanta market. And so I said, okay. So I started looking at condos for her, sending her stuff. And she was like, oh, I need a real estate agent. And I was like, oh, my homegirl Angel has her own brokerage. She can be your agent. So I sent them the information. Long story short, I still continue to look at houses just to see what's out there. I've always had a passion for real estate and just going to open houses and decor and getting ideas. And so I saw this house and I was like, oh my God, this house is beautiful. And I looked in the inside of it. I was like,
gorgeous.
It has everything that I would want in a house. I want to see where this house is at. And so that's what I did. I had never driven to a house that I saw online that I liked. And so as I'm driving there, I was like, oh, this is the same direction as Rocky's house. Still had completely forgot how the house looked. Got to the corner and looked over and saw the house. And I was like, oh my God, this is the same house that I was looking at the day before. And so I got out the car with Jordy and my dog. My former dog.
His former dog.
That's another story. Get the book. The book will be out soon.
Listen, he is not a dog dad.
Yes. And so I prayed. I was like, Lord, if it's your will, you will make, I don't know why I'm drawn to this house, but if it's your will, you will make this process as seamless as possible. My friend Zach met me at the house and he was like, friend, let's pray. The same favor that God gave me, I'm praying that he would give you the same favor. And so he was like, let's look and see if there's some literature on the sign. The sign said coming soon. So I never paid attention to agents, nothing like that. Got to the sign, saw that it was my friend Angel's brokerage.
It was her, wow.
Yes, so I sent her a text and within not even 10 seconds, she was calling me and she was like, I know you lying. I was like, no. She was like, the agent that has this property listed is part investor. When do you want to see the house? I said, well, I'm here in the house now. She was like, well, I'm flying to DC in the morning, but I can switch my flight and I can show you the house. Wow. It was the same exact day of my brother's, his death anniversary that I got. They agreed to the contract and immediately they accepted the offer.
Oh, wow.
And I was so emotional. When I walked in the house, I knew immediately that this was my house. And yeah.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah, so that's what happened. I got the house and home ownership.
Bought a new car.
Got a new car.
Out.
Yes,
yeah.
God is really showing. God is good.
He is good, yeah.
So yeah.
And your health is good. Your doses are lessening. Like your health is doing
Oh,
better,
so
really
as far as my heart, it functions at 35 to 40%. It's what they call a ejection fraction, which is the pumping or squeezing of the heart. Someone that doesn't have cardiovascular disease, there's like, say for instance, your heart would pump, blood would pump out 55 to 70%. So mine is at a 35 to 40%. My cardiologist doesn't get into those numbers like that. He's more so focused on how I feel.
Yeah, and you feel great, you're working out.
Yes, and so my body lets me know. That's why I can't afford, that's why I said me having a heart attack was the best thing that ever happened, because I can't allow myself to get worked up or get upset. It's people right now that owe me money.
And we can't get upset about it. Sips the tea. We're not gonna get upset about it though, because what? God will handle it.
God will handle it. I just count that debt as lost. All you can give me, as Pastor said, it's my money. That's all you can give me. You can't give me no explanation. You can't even say I'm sorry. Why would I waste my energy to literally fuss at you, cuss you out? I mean, you still don't have the money, right?
Yeah, right.
It still ain't
not
gonna
change anything.
Right.
That's right.
So, yeah. So I try not, like, I'm not going back and forth with you.
Yeah, that's good.
Like, I can't afford to go back and forth.
Right.
But in my healing process, now I'm very intentional about my spaces, creating safe spaces, environments amongst my friends. We don't really have no issues. And that's what I love too. And that has helped me navigate on this road of healing, because healing will never stop.
It doesn't. And I'm learning that as an adult.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't. You think you can go to therapy for a couple of months, and like PD talked about yesterday as well, just because you don't feel the pain doesn't mean you've healed from it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like, we're moving on with life thinking, oh yeah, I'm good. Not realizing until you're triggered that, oh, I have not healed from this.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. So it's a constant evolution of just growing and moving past things and healing.
Yes.
Speaking of healing, I want to go back to your childhood. You've been very open about the strained relationship between you and your mother. Basically an absentee mom.
Right.
From the age of, was it 2? How old were you when she?
3-ish.
3-ish.
3-ish, like, yeah, from 3 to like 14-ish. But then, yeah, I don't even know where to start with that.
I remember we were talking last night and you said that your dad had remarried or married another woman.
Yeah, so
and that's who you looked at as your mom.
Yeah, I called her my mom. She's the one that I have to thank for me being on this spiritual walk, because she kept me in church. She would pray. I learned how to pray, all of that. I found out who God was as a child, and I would, even as a kid, I would always pray certain things and God would give them to me. Like, I was like, God, I just want a family, because my dad worked so much.
Yeah.
He was taking care of 4 kids, one that wasn't even his child, but he made a promise to my grandmother that he would take care of us, and as she was on her deathbed. But he never badmouthed her. That's one thing that I'm thankful and glad that he never did. He let us see who she was on our own, or have our own view of her. And so I'm not knocking her not being there. For so long, I was bitter, angry for her not being there. But she did what she thought was best for us. I'm thankful because where I am now, I look back and I'm just like, no, I wouldn't have wanted to live in that environment, you know?
Yeah.
And so this isn't not to, badmouth her or anything like that, but she did the best that she knew how to do. And for us to have a relationship, like currently, there's work that she has to do on her end first before we can even have a relationship.
Right.
You got to love yourself first.
Absolutely.
And once you can love yourself first, then you can give love to other people.
I love
And
how
so,
as adults we're learning that to give our parents grace for
yes.
the decisions they made that affect us still as adults. I remember in conversation you were saying that you had set up a dinner with your siblings
Yes.
and invited her
Yes.
and she didn't even show up.
This
and that was like the last straw.
Yeah, that was actually the last straw. I was reading PD's book, Relational Intelligence. And so I was like, I'm gonna give this one more chance. And so I went to Memphis and I was like, I wanna have a dinner. And all of my siblings, they came and she was a no-show. And I told them in that very moment that I am officially done. Like I'm done. I've tried my whole life to make this, and the only thing I've ever wanted her to do was just to show up. Like you didn't have to have it all, but that's why I think I love the movie Antoine Fisher so much, because he was like, I would have dreams about you, and I would run to the corner and think that you would be there, and you wouldn't be there, like. That was literally me. Like I wanted this. I wanted this ideal mom. And so me living in LA and getting into therapy, my first therapist was a woman and she kept asking me stuff about my childhood. And I was like, well, anything that referred to my childhood, I didn't want to answer because I was like, it ain't got nothing to do with me now. I'm 27. What you talking about?
But it does.
This does not affect me now. And I did not know that, I associated pain, everything that anyone did to me wrong, I associated with the pain of my mom. I associated pain with her. And so in that moment, I got a chair. I wrote a letter. I read the letter out loud, and then I sent it to her.
What was that technique called?
The empty chair?
The empty chair.
Yeah. And so I did that, and I think that just made things even worse. But I remember turning 30, and out of that, she was like, what do you want from me? And I was like, just be a mother. Call me on my birthday or tell me happy birthday. I can't even count on, both hands how many times you said that, So on my birthday, my 30th birthday, she sent me a text message. And she said, happy birthday, wooda, wooda, wooda. And I replied, and I was like, oh, thank you. My prayer is that God would heal our broken relationship. Then she responded back and said, look, I don't have time for this. I think it's just best that you go on with your life.
What?
So from 30 to now, it's been, silence. I don't call. I tried, the whole thing on Mother's Day, two Mother's Days ago. I felt led to, at the end of the day, she's still my mother.
Yeah.
So I want to honor that. I thank you for having me, And again, it goes back, I'm not a mistake.
No.
I am here for a purpose.
Yes.
And especially now. So it's I don't have I'm not mad at her, but for so long, I said that I had forgiven this woman because it was the Christian thing to do.
Ooh.
I was like, oh, I'm a Christian. I got to forgive her.
Yeah.
So that was a lie. The whole time I did. I had all this anger towards this woman.
Yeah.
And so God told me, just think about it. If you're able to truly forgive her, how many doors will open up to you? And that just happened 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Literally releasing her, And if she could call me right to this day, if she needs something, I would be there.
Yeah.
But as far as us having a relationship, that would take some time and some healing on her part. She would have to be in therapy. Yeah. And then we could be in therapy together, but yeah. But my dad, on the other hand.
Your dad is amazing. Shout out, Doc. We love your dad. Your dad is everything.
Yes, I love my pops.
He's been so supportive of you in everything. You just bought your dad his dream car.
Yes, so my dad retired last year. And so he actually retired on my birthday, 11/30. And I wanted to do something because my brother's birthday was coming up and I didn't want him to be just in a funk, you know, so I was like, okay, I always said that I would, you know, give him his dream car. I said, Lord, I want to give my dad his dream car. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but when I do it, I'm going to pay it off. Yeah. That was like 13 years ago. Again, praying, saying this.
Yes.
Your words have power. And so, yeah, I did it. And normally my dad, like if you give my dad something, he's like, oh, I don't need that. Like if you give him money, he'll give it back. Yeah,
he ain't giving that car back.
Baby, he did not give that car back.
He did not. I love that.
Yeah, so.
That's amazing. Oh, I love that. I want to talk about your childhood a little bit. We talk about your sexuality and we talk about how you don't subscribe to being labeled as a gay man.
Right.
I can't remember how you explained it to me, but how do you describe who MarQuis is? And when did you even realize that something is different about me? I'm not really into girls like that.
Okay,
what was that process like?
As far as the gay part, I don't subscribe to it because it's so much that I don't understand about the LGBT community, and I get the negative connotation too that comes with being a black gay man in Atlanta. In Atlanta,
like in Atlanta,
you can move. Yeah, you can move anywhere in the country. Just don't go to Atlanta because there's a lot of gay folks there. Like that's immediately what happens, and I think a lot of it has to do with. What TV puts out there of what the typical gay person is in Atlanta.
That's not me.
And I'm like, that's not me. I don't identify with that. And I'm not knocking anybody that, you know, wear heels and do all of that stuff. Live you, be true to who you are because there's healing when healing comes through you being true. The truth will set you free.
Yeah,
so being real, And so I appreciate people like that, but as for me, even when I told my dad, I said, I like dudes. That's what I said. How old were you
when you said that?
I was 27.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you knew this like since, was it high school or?
Yeah, I knew, well, I wouldn't say high school because in high school I had a girlfriend and everything, so I was trying to figure out my life. Like I'm attracted to women, you know, oh, like, can I say this?
Absolutely.
Like, I like straight porn. So, like, I like straight porn.
He said, can I say this?
Yeah. Heterosexual porn, whatever you want to call it. Like, that's what I like, you know? So, same gender loving is what I like to use. Like, it depends, and now I'm still evolving because at one point I still wanted to have kids.
Yeah.
So I mean, I've had sex with women and stuff like that. I've done that, but I just don't like to put labels on me. You know, I don't even like clothes that have like the labels and all that stuff on it. So that's my outlook on it. You know, so thankfully. My dad loves me unconditionally.
He does.
Once I got his approval, because that's all that really mattered to me. I didn't care what nobody else thought. And he was like, son, long as you're good, we're good. Oh. And he said it twice. He was like, you hear me? Long as you good, I'm good. And he was like, I'm proud of you, you know, because I was like, and the reason for me to even telling him and my brother and my sister at that time was because I was like, I would hate if something happened to me, God forbid, or you guys, and y'all not know the real me, you know? And there's so many people that live in I wouldn't say in the closet, but they can't be their true, authentic self.
Yeah.
Or they try to present this character like so many do on social media.
I was just talking to somebody and they were like, so many people are living up beyond what they really are and faking that they really need to be living down so that people never really know where you really are.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's smart because people they live up to this image that they are completely
Yeah,
not.
absolutely.
You know? Yeah, that's a real thing.
And so, yeah, that's literally how I look at it. There's so much division when it comes to the community anyway, especially here with whites and blacks. Like, they don't mingle like in other cities. Like, no.
Wow.
No.
I thought that was interesting.
It's very segregated. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't do, you know me, I'm like, my dad said, you are so anti-gay. And I was like, no, I'm not. I just don't do the prides and all that stuff.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to be rolling around with a flag and all that stuff because I just don't understand it all. I'm MarQuis.
Yeah.
When I die, you're going to say MarQuis. You're not going to say, oh, the gay guy.
Yeah, right.
You know, even with roles and stuff, how they be like tops and bottoms and all that stuff. Or, why can't you just love the anatomy and just be done with it? Why you have to do
all that? Yeah.
All that because somebody else said to do it, or why we put so much emphasis on that? Or if you see two feminine people together, okay, which one is the girl? Like, that's just so dumb and stupid to me.
You just love people. It's just like
just
love.
Yeah, love is the key. Love has got me. God's love. How I love my friends, all those things bring me joy.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. I love that. MarQuis, this has been good.
Yes, it has been good.
This has been really good. We touched on so many topics. I wanted you guys you see him with me all the time. You see us in the car singing, doing our car chronicles, but I really wanted you to get a closer look because his testimony is amazing. Everything that you embody is what anybody would hope for in a friend. So I'm just grateful to have you as my friend.
Thank you.
And I know that people are going to take something from this episode because your story is just so amazing.
Yeah.
It really is.
And it's still being written.
It is.
Yeah.
Hey.
And like I told you, I'm proud of you too.
Thank
I've always told you, like, our stories are going to be told one day. I don't know how they're going to be told, but I feel like we're living out
our purpose.
Our purpose.
We are.
Yeah.
We surely are. I love it. All right, so we're going to do one of my favorite parts is where our listeners write into us. You know what this is. You watch it every Tuesday, Positive Outcomes. So this week it says, "Hi, Crystal. This past year has been such a roller coaster for me. I lost my best friend on 8/22/22, my mama. She was my rock and she passed away suddenly. I feel like at that time my siblings and I got down to business with arrangements. All the family and friends came out of the woodworks. But I soon began to realize my grieving didn't start until recently," which is common for a lot of people because you get so busy with everything else. Meaning I pretty much stepped into my mother's shoes and began keeping my family together. In the midst of it all, I realized I forgot about me and my own health. I don't feel as pretty anymore. I feel like everything is closing in on me. I battle with my thoughts with God. Sometimes I'm happy that he is in my life, and then I get angry because he took my best friend and left me here to be alone. I don't have a boyfriend and often wonder, God, why did you take the only person who really had my back? I wish I could gain my confidence back again. I hope to one day shine again so others can see Christ through me. Do you have any advice on how to live past your loss? I think this is a perfect question for you because you've had so much loss. Do you want to give her advice?
Yes.
She didn't leave us her name, but this is really good.
Okay. The first thing I would tell her is to validate her feelings. During my grieving process, I would always say, well, I don't want to feel sad. I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to feel like that. I don't want to cry. But all that it's doing is literally making the wound wider. The hurt is deeper. So I would tell her to acknowledge her feelings, validate them, but create a place where she can heal inwardly, and that's through creating safe environments amongst friends, family. Yeah, you're not gonna be your mom, like stepping in your mom's shoes. That role could never be fulfilled.
Exactly,
You
I
need to
agree.
create another set of shoes and be that person for your siblings and your family. But definitely get a therapist to help you too, because had it not been for my therapist, then I got a psychiatrist because I was on medication. A lot of that sounds like what she's going through is spiritual, not mental, because we talk a lot about mental health.
Yes.
But when I was going through my grieving with my brother, it was more on a spiritual level that like festered into
The
or
mental.
leaked into my mental
Yeah.
head, because I'm just like, God, this. I pray to you, woo, 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 woo. When once I got in their word, give me my
Hey,
daily
hey.
bread,
Every day.
I started to get stronger and stronger. It's like when you go to the gym. You go to the gym, the weights don't get heavier. You get stronger to lift the weights. And so I think if she exercised that advice, I think she would be okay.
I love that. That's really good. That's good. I would tell you to, yes, please get a therapist. A therapist is so important. We're only one person, and it sounds like you're taking on a whole lot. And I would say that, like MarQuis said as well, echo what he said, is that you can't fill your mom's shoes. You're literally putting yourself in a position to honestly fail. That's like a lot to do, because you'll never be that for your sisters and your brothers. So I would say get a therapist and just do what you can do. I would also take time to just be with yourself, get to know yourself again, because it also feels like you kind of lost yourself in all of this. So I would also say take time to get to know yourself, meditate. I love doing yoga. That just gives me the opportunity to be grateful for every breath, be by myself, turn my phone off, because you can't have phones in there. It's just a moment to disconnect from everything. Walks, nature walks, get out and do other things that maybe you can find happiness in, and just learn to love yourself all over again. Because I will say, after reading this, it feels like with losing your mother, you kind of lost yourself as well.
Yes, and the man will come.
Honey,
Yes,
he gonna
you
come.
got to work on you first, boo.
Yeah, because he's gonna feel all this.
Yes.
Everything that you're saying, that man is gonna feel all that, and it's gonna make either he's strong enough to hold you close, or it's gonna make him run. So your best bet is to be whole, so that you can attract the type of man that you want.
Yes.
All right. I hope you get better. I hope that you know that this too shall pass, and just keep on keeping on, keep putting your best foot forward, and everything's gonna be okay.
Keep moving.
That's right. All right. So we're gonna do what I'm going through and what I'm growing through.
Okay.
So let's see. In this season of my life, or let's say this week, I am going through knowing that God is going to make a way where I can't see a way. I'm growing through having the patience and understanding, and even knowing, okay, you're getting a little anxious here. Because a lot of times I don't have the awareness, and before I know it, I'm in a whole frizzies, like, calm down, it's okay. So having that awareness is what I'm growing through, to know that it's going to be okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am currently going through, am I ready to be in a relationship?
Yeah. That's good.
I don't want to compare my previous relationship to any other relationship, or be triggered by a person's actions of something that he did, you know? So I know it's time to move on, because I made that promise that my heart would go on. But it is so hard trying to do that, you know?
Especially after losing a love like
Yeah,
that.
because it's like, okay, I said that I didn't want to be in a long distance relationship. And it's hard dating here in Atlanta. So that's
Who you telling? You preaching to the choir.
Listen, I'm about to be 40, you know?
If something don't shake real quick, we both
Yeah.
gonna be moving to Dallas.
Right?
Taking Keep It Positive Sweetie to Houston or Dallas.
Listen.
Or LA, because I know that's right.
Yes.
Dinorah's like, no, you're coming to LA.
Yeah, we're going to be definitely bi-coastal pretty soon anyway.
Absolutely, claiming that. Claiming
Yeah,
that.
I'm going through that, and then like career changes.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm going through. Like, what's my next move
Yes.
in this new chapter of my life? So, yeah, growing, what I'm growing through.
Yeah.
I am growing through being unapologetically me.
I love that. And you do a very good job at that.
Yeah, like
I
I'm
see
only
you walking
doing
into
what
it.
I want to do.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah.
All right. I
Like
love
I'm gonna
it.
be aligned, but yeah.
Yeah.
If the friendships, if a new friendship arises, like what are your intentions? Like what are
That's my first question.
Yeah.
When any guy approaches me, I'm like, what are your intentions?
Yes, because people will come. I've been getting people out of the blue that I haven't talked to in years come and they see the glow up and
Now they want to be back.
Yeah.
Wait, spin the block. No,
No.
we're not doing that.
Yeah, so that's what I'm growing through. Just
That's good.
yeah, going and growing.
I love it. I love it. So we're going to do our favorite part, keep it blank, sweetie, to end the show. I'm going to say, keep it authentic, sweetie.
I was gonna say real.
Were
You
you-
be in my head.
Oh,
Get out of
yeah.
my head. Okay. I'm going to say keep it going.
That's right. Keep it going.
Keep it going.
Yeah. Oh, I
Like
like that.
you gotta keep it going, sweetie.
Yes.
Like no matter what happens, whatever ball is thrown, if you strike out, if if the ball is a foul ball, like
Yeah.
you
If
gotta
it hit
keep
you,
going, because guess
keep
what?
going.
Time is ticking,
And it's not
not waiting.
Amen. That's so good.
Yeah.
All right. Keys, thank you so much.
Thank you,
I
darling.
love
Thank you. I love you too.
Oh my gosh, this is so good. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to write into our Positive Outcomes listener letter, you can write into keepitpositivesweetie@gmail.com, and that's sweetie with an IE. You can follow Kips at Keep It Positive Sweetie on all platforms, and you can follow me at LUV Crystal Renee on Instagram and all platforms as well.
Yes.
Keys, tell them where they can find you.
They can find me at Beat It Keys. That's Beat It, like Michael Jackson. Beat It. And you can also follow my foundation page. It's called the Beat It Foundation, or thebeatitfoundation.org is the website.
Absolutely. Please follow that so that you can stay tuned with all the amazing upcoming events and things that he has going on, and to get involved, because cardiovascular disease is really a big thing in our community that we need to get a handle on. So I definitely want to support that and get more people involved so we can get the awareness out.
Donations.
Yeah, so we can help more people.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so definitely get the awareness out there. Guys, thank you so much. Have a blessed week. And in the meantime, you know what to do. Keep it positive, sweetie. Bye, guys.